Hey guys, it's Emily. Welcome back to The Casual Puzzler, to another video. I feel like today I'm pretty rusty. It's been a couple weeks since I've sat down to film and it's been about a week since I've posted. So sorry for the very random break. I just finished the holiday season and things are now happening with the move, and so it's just been a lot of chaos over here, and we are going on vacation this week, so it's just like lots of things happening. We are not here for that today. I just wanted to give you a little reasoning of why I was a little absent the past couple weeks. But today we are doing a brand review for Workman puzzles. I have done one already and I'll have the footage here for the video, and I will bring the second puzzle actually with me during our move, so it will come with me in temporary housing. The puzzle that I am doing today on camera is this one called Where the Crawdads Sing. And the thing about their brand is they do, or at least a lot of the ones that I saw, is that they have puzzles based on books. And so Where the Crawdads Sing is one of my favorites. I have read it a couple times. I have listened to the audiobook. And I thought it would be really fun to do the puzzle and do the audiobook at the same time. So that's what I did today. The other puzzle that I own is this one called All Good Things Are Wild and Free, and the author of that is Henry David Thoreau. And this one is totally a lot more my style when it comes to image. Super fun, very bright, very colorful, very like illustrated. And I hadn't really heard of that book before. This one I was excited to do while listening to the audiobook. So that's what we are doing today. I kind of will show you the overhead footage of the pieces and me doing the puzzle, and then I'll come back and explain how it went, what the quality was like, a little bit more about the brand, and we're just gonna get into this. So let's just go to Past Emily where I did this puzzle. All right, so here is the Where the Crawdads Sing puzzle, and box, super sturdy, kind of reminds me of a Gallison box. As you can see, this is a collage puzzle with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different sections. One is all words, which I always love puzzles with words. And these are all photographs, which photographs are usually not like my go-to style, but I kind of like that they're smaller. I love the colors of this one. I really love the areas with really different skies. I think it's going to be a fun one. Let me just show you the rest of the box. So on the side, again, very traditional puzzle box. Where the Crawdads Sing, it's 1,000 pieces, and it of course is based off the book by Dahlias. And then on the back of the puzzle, again, we have another little full picture, and that does talk a little bit about the book, which is kind of cool. So it gives you a little teaser, a little bit about a puzzle, about the author, and then a little bit about the company. So I'm really excited about this. Let's just break this open and see what it looks like inside.
Are you really excited about that?
I am. All right, so inside the box we do have just a small little printout, which is nice. If you don't have a ton of space for a full poster, you can just have it on the side like this. Is probably how I'm gonna do it, so I can still do the puzzle while looking at the image. Let's look at the pieces. All right, so here are some of the pieces. Hopefully that's in focus, but very traditional piece cuts. They do have a few different variations in piece shape, and they're not completely matte, but they're not glossy. I feel like they're nice, good satin finish, which I appreciate. They are a decent thickness, but they do have a paper backing, but instead of it being white, I don't know if you can tell, hopefully maybe if I go over here. So it's not a white paper backing, it is like this tan color, which is the same for, kind of like the same vibe as the puzzle itself. You guys know paper backing isn't my favorite thing, but we'll just try it and see if it hinders the experience at all. I do like the coloring of this, and even though they are photographs, it does look like there's some pretty sharp moments within the pieces. So we're just gonna get into this and see how this goes. All right, so now while I'm doing this puzzle, I'm actually listening to the audiobook, and I think it's going to be a fun experience to listen to it while doing the puzzle. It's funny because actually when I purchased the audiobook like a long time ago, so I've already listened to it, it had a different cover, but the cover has since changed to the movie cover, so interesting. I did a little bit of a sort. I have some edges over here. Then we have this little section of like bright orange. I have the word section, another little square, and then I took out all the dividing lines so that way I can make the grid and then fill it in with their pieces. So that is where I'm at currently. I kind of just want to start with these words and then probably that and then edges. I don't know, we're just playing around with it, but just to let you know also, I do have these pieces which aren't cut all the way through, and then I do have two pieces that had issues with the paper backing, but not horrible. I mean, this one is pretty bad, but it's okay. You know, that is one of the drawbacks of having a paper backing. So I'm just gonna work on this puzzle. Alright, I am back and I just want to go over just a few things about the brand and my experience and how it was doing the puzzle while listening to an audiobook, and we're just going to get into this. So Workman Publishing was originally founded by an author, and he is no longer with us, and the company is currently with Hatchet Book Group, which actually owns a couple other brands as well, like Artisan Puzzles, which I do have one of their puzzles as well, and a few others that I'll list here on the screen. But I do own this one here, and I think I've heard of the other ones. I'm not sure if they all feature puzzles, but this is the one I have from Artisan Puzzles. Now the box isn't quite the same, similar feel, but the box isn't quite the same. The pieces do seem very similar though, and that's just something to mention. The Workman puzzles were $20 a piece, $19.95 to $22 if I can remember correctly. I got mine at Barnes & Noble, which was very fitting for me because I was buying a puzzle that's based on a book at a bookstore, so it just kind of worked. But when I bought them, they were buy one get one half off, so maybe you can find a similar deal. As far as the quality goes, the first instinct is to say it's exactly like Gallison puzzles. Gallison or Mud Puppy, they're the same brand. I feel like this one could easily have been done in the same manufacturing place. You know, I don't know if that's the case, but they feel exactly the same. They have the paper backing. The thing that made this one a little bit different is that the paper backing is a different color, so that's fun. And it is for the Artisan puzzle as well while we're talking about them. So the backing of the Where the Crawdad Sing puzzle is this tan, so it's right on brand with this puzzle. And then the back for this one, the Artisan puzzles, while we're talking about them, is actually this really fun like purpley plum color. And so it's something different, you know, it's a different color, but they are not the first brand to do that. Like Ebu actually has a paper backing but just looks like cardboard coloring, so It's something that's not my favorite. There was about 3 pieces total that had a little bit peeling off on the back, but nothing crazy. There was a couple pieces that were stuck together where the paper backing wasn't cut all the way through. It's a very similar experience again to a Galison puzzle or a Mud Puppy puzzle, but their pieces are different shapes. You know, sometimes a Mud Puppy or a Galison can just be all 2s. The one that I did from Workman is just traditional puzzle shapes that are in grid formation. I did enjoy the fit of them. I didn't have a single false fit, so that I do appreciate. And that's something I've noticed a lot with puzzles with paper backing, is that the fit is usually good. As far as the image goes, it was lovely. You guys know I'm a huge fan of doing puzzles with sky, and in this one there are so many different options. So like this sky here, loved it. I like the sky here. This one, not necessarily sky, but the water had that same like effect, you know. I love this more ombre sky here. It was just screaming at me. I liked the different grids. You know, I like this collage style of puzzle, which normally that's not something I gravitate towards, but I think it was the combination of like the coloring. I was just enjoying myself. I liked each individual image. I think out of all of them, the one that surprised me the most of how much I liked it was this one here, which is like this little collage of items that she collects. Even though there are some areas, like say the sky here, where it may not be a fun puzzle for me to do as a full-size image, it was fun to do a little tiny little sliver, you know, and it was fun to do. So as far as the image goes, I loved it. I thought it was super fun. I like the little quote here where a little bit of words. Super quick and easy. It took me about 6 hours to do total, just because it's very distinct areas. I never got stuck, and I did it where I actually did the words first, then the grid, and then the border. So that was the method that I used. It's pretty easy to distinct the different squares, even though there are similar colors, like different shades of orange. You can tell which is which based on the texture and such. So I really enjoyed this image a lot, and I actually really enjoyed listening to the audiobook while doing the puzzle at the same time. I often feel like, and this is the downfall about doing 2 things at once, is that when I'm listening to an audiobook, say a true crime book, you know, but then I'm doing a puzzle that's flowers, there is a disconnect, you know, and sometimes I'm not really listening to the audiobook or really not paying attention too much about the puzzle. In this case, I kind of felt like I was really involved with both, and I think it's because I was doing a puzzle about the book. And no, the image isn't quite accurate to the book. Like, she doesn't actually have a canoe, you know. In the book she actually has a motorboat, and if you've never heard the story, it is a novel that I've discussed in my favorite audiobooks of all time. And it is a girl who's abandoned in like a marsh in North Carolina, I believe. And I just felt like while I was listening to it and doing the puzzle, it was connected, and I could kind of hear more of the story. And I think it may have just because I've read this book a couple times, you know, but I feel like each time I read it, I get a little bit more of that visual, and it definitely helped having like an actual visual to look at that's based on the book. You know, it was a fun experience. Now, I did finish the puzzle a lot sooner than I finished the book, but that's okay. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good time, and it actually made me consider doing other puzzles that way, or at least being a little bit more mindful of what books I choose when I'm puzzling, but maybe making it a little bit more cohesive to enjoy both a little bit more and not ignore one of them. And I feel like that's something I've noticed when listening to audiobooks. Like, I'm usually paying attention to it enough to like hear the book, but sometimes I miss things, or I miss the artistry of the writing or the scene that it's trying to dictate, you know. So I could see me doing this again in the future, something similar, or maybe even watching a movie or having a movie going at the same time. And I think that's one of the reasons I love doing the Harry Potter or the Schmidt Magical Journey puzzle last year, is that even though it wasn't actually Harry Potter themed, it did kind of make it a super fun experience come doing like a magical puzzle while listening or watching Harry Potter. And I think it's the same concept, you know. I think I just need to be a little bit more mindful of the puzzles that I'm doing when I'm trying to absorb an audiobook. And it was a fun experience. And I thought maybe if you are a audiobook lover, I know there's some of you on here have you done something like this, you know, where you're trying to pair the two, or are you just like picking two things at random? The other image I am excited to do, as far as the images go in general, they're really fun. They have a huge range, but it's just not my favorite as far as quality goes. Paper backing for me is just not my style. I don't know, it's one of those brands, like if I saw it at a thrift store or if I saw it in a swap, like I'd be totally happy to get it. If I saw it on sale, maybe, you know, but if it was full price at $20, I don't think so. I don't think I would buy another one. So that's my thoughts on this puzzle. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Again, we will have a little bit of an adjustment period as we are moving house, and so I just want to touch base, and I'll give you more in-depth info on that in a future video. But thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next one.